Where's Oleksandr Usyk, the rabbit? Hey, rabbit! Usyk! You're next, little bitch. You're next. You are next. Me and you, sucker, next. Me and you. You're getting it, little sucker. Rabbit. Pussy. I already done one Ukrainian Klitschko, didn't I? And I'll do you as well, gappy teeth. You ugly little man. You ugly little man. Let's get it on, bitch.
Who would have thought just a few months ago Tyson Fury was officially ending his boxing career, and today he is back on the roll, making headlines again. He left no chance to Derek Chisora by beating him for the third time, and right after that he called out Oleksandr Usyk, who was sitting close to the ring. And challenged Usyk is an understatement. The Gypsy King took an extremely harsh approach to his potential opponent and let us all know that he wants this fight just as much as any boxing fan. Friends, today's video will be a technical breakdown of the Fury vs Usyk fight. Let's try to understand if the Ukrainian has any chance to displace the brash heavyweight king and become an undisputed champion. Please don't forget to like and comment in 4 words. Let's begin. Before discussing the technical side of this potential fight of the century, it is worth discussing the background of the competitors, and let's start with the challenger. As many of you probably know, most of his career, Oleksandr Usyk spent not in the heavyweight division, but in the category below. That's where the Ukrainian gained his loyal fan base, and along with it the belts of all 4 major boxing organizations, becoming the undisputed champion. But even before that, Oleksandr had a fantastic career in amateur sport. During many years of amateur performances, Usyk won European and World Championships, and in 2012 he even won the gold medal in the Olympic Games in London. This outstanding combat experience and perfection during his performances technique allowed the fighter to advance to the professionals successfully, and to this day know no bitterness of defeat. Now it's Tyson Fury's turn. Hell, over the last few years, this prominent Brit has turned into a true superstar who single-handedly promotes the heavyweight division, and we must say, really successfully. The Gypsy King knows how to draw attention to himself with his outrageous antics and surprisingly daring interviews. Challenging Usyk is nothing compared to what Tyson said to either Klitschko or Wilder, but all this trash-talking magic wouldn't have any value without big victories, and Fury has no problems with that. The list of the top veterans and even champions has been beaten or knocked out in a horrific way. Nobody could overcome the Brit, no one except himself. Mental problems had repeatedly driven Fury into a deadlock and made him idle or talk about ending his career. Just back in April, the Gypsy King left again, but now he's back to continue making history once more. Will he be here for long? I think we will know that after the great fight with Usyk. So, how did the roads of these very different fighters cross? In fact, most of the talk about a potential fight between Oleksandr and Tyson began at the exact moment when the Ukrainian moved up to the heavyweight division and, to everyone's surprise, first demolished Derek Chisora and then destroyed Brit Anthony Joshua, who was supposed to face Fury. Why are fans so interested in this fight? First, the Gypsy King has already dismantled the entire heavyweight division, and he has even beaten some of them several times like Wilder. A new face, and especially one as promising as Usyk, always draws a lot of attention. Secondly, and more importantly, from the sport's point of view, since the time of the great Lennox Lewis, there still hasn't been an undisputed champion in the heavyweight division. Yes, there were times when boxers managed to collect more than one belt. Wladimir Klitschko had 3 of them for several years, but no one has ever managed to win all 4. The winner of Usyk vs Fury would qualify for the proud title of an undisputed champion of the world, the first time in many years. So, we're done with the story. Now it's time to look at what fighters are capable of and what they will use to beat each other. Technique. You know, there are a lot of guys in the heavyweight division who only rely on their knockout power, but that's certainly not the case with today's fighters. To be honest, we can talk about Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk's technique for hours, but I'll try to be brief because many of you already know everything. The Gypsy King is a man who has stumped the best boxers of our time with his style. No matter how short or how tall his opponents were, Tyson would hold him on the comfortable distance for himself with his precise jab, and no one would be able to deliver their blows. If the rival doesn't shorten the distance, Fury will eventually add a powerful straight hand, and with his punch, he could score the knockout. What if the opponent gets any closer to the Brit? That's reckless. One of Tyson's main trump cards is the clinch, when he presses people with his huge body and doesn't let them take a single breath. After a few of those clinches, boxers lose all their strength, and approaching the Gypsy King next time, they catch a terrible uppercut or hook with their faces, and then their bodies are sent to the canvas. Maybe try to pin Fury to the ropes and knock him out with a hail of punches? Unfortunately, the Gypsy King's non-trivial defense and sheer movement speed makes it impossible to hit him, even when he's pinned in the corner. It seemed that nature itself created Tyson to be the kryptonite to any existing boxer. Otherwise, why haven't they found the keys to him yet? And maybe the Ukrainian champion can do it. Let's take a look at what Usyk has in his arsenal. Oleksandr is a product of a slightly modified Soviet boxing school, all aspects of which he learned through training with Lomachenko Sr. All of Usyk's work in the fight is based on the movement of his legs. He has some strange resemblance to Fury in this, but if the British fighter's footwork is understood only by himself, the Ukrainian style of movement is a long invented but nevertheless very effective. Constantly changing his support leg, Oleksandr moves the body, head, creates the right angles, and at a certain moment connects his sharp and very precise punch. It is very difficult to hit the moving head. On top of that, Usyk moves around and creates even more problems for his opponent. All of this allows the champion to almost never raise his hands to defend his head because he fully controls the course of the fight, and most importantly, the distance. Knocking his opponents out is not Oleksandr's main goal, so he does not rely on his power, but he uses the natural inertia and impulses of such active movements to throw his punches with the necessary speed and power for knockout. The fact that Usyk is a perfectly skilled southpaw is another advantage, making the fight against him a puzzle that no other fighter could ever solve in the boxing ring. What do we have in the end? Two geniuses in the field of footwork with the perfect defense and unpredictable moves who have never been beaten. Really, these are the kind of guys you want to see at the very top of the boxing pantheon. Endurance and mentality. And if we discuss stamina, Tyson Fury is unmatched in this field. He breathes as well in the first round as in the 12th one, irrespective of whether he worked as first or second number for the whole fight. Even in tough fights, such as his first clash with the Bronze Bomber, his stamina did not let him down. And looking at his size, you constantly ask the same annoying question: how the hell does Tyson manage not to get tired? Fury is synonymous for the word anti-athletic. Constantly swollen with incredibly skinny arms and legs, he is nevertheless always agile and doesn't even give the appearance of being exhausted. A real magic in the ring. Usyk's stamina is not as good. The matter is that his style is rather energy consuming, and if in the first heavyweight division it was not so evident, nowadays we may often see Oleksandr slowing down for a couple of rounds to recover after the equator of the fight. Thus, he lost rounds against Joshua, and in his potential clash with the tireless Tyson, his weakness in the cardio aspect may become one of the biggest problems for the Ukrainian. In terms of psychological preparedness for the fight, things look different. As I said, Fury often has thoughts of ending his boxing epic, but the Brit always finds the inner strength to come back and continue to break new records. How is he motivated now? Judging by his third fight with Chisora, Tyson has no problems with his spirit, and considering how Fury got up from Wilder's killing bombs over and over again, we can say for sure that this Brit is unbreakable. In Oleksandr's case, everything is also crystal clear. Despite solid accomplishments in the sport, the champion is still hungry, loaded, and does not even think about putting the gloves on the nail. He's just moved up into a new category for himself, and he still has a lot to do here. In my opinion, Fury's attacks won't affect the Ukrainian's mental state in any way, as his mind is absolutely unshakable. Oleksandr understands that his main task is to get in the ring, dismantle whoever is in front of him, and the rest is unimportant. In terms of mentality, it's 50-50. Prediction. What can we say by the end? Both boxers are the strongest athletes in their weight category now, and their meeting is bound to go down in history. In fact, it's really hard to say exactly what we'll see in the ring. I'm sure that Usyk will be setting the tempo and breaking the rhythm of the fight with his lightning-fast moves, but Tyson may not be surprised with that. The main challenge for Oleksandr will be the fact that the Brit is unbelievably tall. He's much taller and has a serious advantage in reach. The Ukrainian may try to solve this problem by cutting angles and his head movement, but on the short range he will be faced with the same problem. The Brits clinch. Even in a fight with the much shorter Chisora, Oleksandr had a significant problem. As long as the Del Boy was fresh, he was chasing his opponent around the ring and easily pinning him with one hand, not allowing him to break free. Yes, so Chisora tired quickly, but what would happen against Fury, who is much more talented and smarter in his use of the clinch? By properly weighing on Usyk, by the 6th or 7th round, the British fighter will already have a completely exhausted opponent, who will be easy to deal with. Also, let's not forget that even if his punches are hard, they're not enough to knock his opponent out in the heavyweight. If he really wants to, the huge Tyson can just ignore his opponent's punches and go for it in order to get him in his clinch. So what should Usyk do? In my opinion, he has to show his opponent with the very first punches that he has power here. Then the Brit wouldn't take a risk. So alternating light and heavy punches, Oleksandr via body movements can go to his distance and smash Fury's body, not forgetting to include his trademark check hook to the head. With this kind of setup, Usyk will do his standard work, and taking a break at the right moment will be able to take enough rounds and bring the fight to a winning decision. But despite this pretty good game plan, I'm leaning more towards Tyson's win. With equal size, Usyk would have some chances to success, but with such a big size difference and the obvious tools for Tyson to win, it would be strange not to believe in him. My prediction? Victory for the Gypsy King by decision, and possibly by technical knockout in the later rounds. But again, this is my personal opinion, and I make it based on my beliefs. Okay guys, now I'm waiting for your opinion in the comments. Who's gonna win? Fury or Usyk? Let's discuss it all.